Can meditation improve your balance? There have been several studies that have shown that different types of meditation can actually improve people's balance, reduce their chance of falling, help them walk faster with better steps. A lot of people hearing that statement are going to think that that's not true, that either that's a made up fact or that we're using the wrong kind of research. But the truth is, a lot of studies have been done by experimenters across the country and across the world that have shown that meditation can improve walking in people at high risk for falling. There's several studies just about Parkinson's disease. So people with Parkinson's definitely have a bigger chance of falling. And what they find is that having people with Parkinson's do mindful meditation for 10 to 20 minutes a day can greatly reduce their chance of falling. What it does is it allows them to have a better step length, a faster walking speed, and it reduces their stiffness when they're walking. So why is this? Well, there's two kind of things we have to discuss to answer this question of why does meditation help this? So the first is to think about the reason why a lot of people fall. There are a lot of reasons that people fall. It can be bad balance, something wrong with their balance system, whether it's a neurologic injury or a head injury. But if you look at why people fall, a lot of times, a lot of the reason is fear of falling. When someone has a fear of falling, even if they don't have any problems, or if they do have other problems, it's kind of the same. When you have a fear of something, you stiffen up. When you think about something like walking on the grass. Now, for many of us, walking on the grass is very simple. It's an activity that doesn't cause any fear in us. But someone that's had a lot of falls, them walking on the grass, which is an uneven surface, that makes them feel anxious. That makes them feel like they could fall. And what we find is that people that feel that way tend to stiffen up. And when you stiffen up, you have a shorter step length. You don't lift your feet as high off the ground. You tend not to weight shift as much. And what that leads to is falling. Because if you walk very stiffly and then you actually encounter something like a pothole or a little bump, it's much more likely that that little obstacle is going to cause you to fall. So we know that people that have high anxiety and a high fear of falling tend to fall more often. So meditation actually can reduce your anxiety. Meditation can reduce your fear of falling. So the second thing that I want to explain is how that works. So what is the type of meditation that's helped? So there's a name for it, and it's called mindfulness meditation. There are many different kinds of meditation. I've learned that even things like singing or praying or chanting, all of those are types of meditation. But in most of the research, the type of meditation that seems to have the greatest effect is something called mindful meditation. So what that is having the person that practices it sit in a quiet space, a place where they're not going to be distracted by other things, and they focus on their breathing. And while they're focusing on their breathing, any thought that pops into their mind at all, they're refocusing their attention back to their breathing. Most of the studies have shown that doing this for as little as 10 minutes a day can have a significant impact on your anxiety, your balance, and reduce your chance of falling. I'm going to use myself as an example to better explain this. Set a timer for 5 minutes, you sit in a quiet space, and anytime any thought except for the focus of your breathing comes into your mind, you recognize that thought and then you shift back to your breathing. And the first few times that I did this, I felt were just terrible failures. And the reason I thought they were failures is because I kept having a lot of other thoughts. I'd set the timer for 5 minutes and my mind would wander and I'd be thinking about, what I had to do that day, things I might have forgotten to do, things that I needed to do. And I would get done with the timer and I thought, wow, I didn't accomplish anything at all. I was distracted the entire time. And when I went back to the person that taught me this and told her that, she laughed at me and she says, no, that's actually what mindful meditation is. Everybody has these other thoughts. And what you're doing is you're practicing for 5 minutes, you're practicing shifting your focus from those other thoughts back to your breathing. And the more you do this, the better you get at it. So she encouraged me to stick to it, and I did. And as the weeks went by, I definitely could tell I was getting better and better at any time I was distracted, recognizing that I was distracted, and focusing my attention back on the breaths. And that's, in a nutshell, what mindfulness meditation is. In most of the studies, that's what they had people do. Now, you can do that with someone talking to you, and that's called guided meditation. And there's lots of apps and there's lots of tapes and things that you can get to help you guide through that process. But what's been shown to be the most effective is where you don't have anybody talking to you, no one's guiding you through the process. You're just simply sitting in a quiet room. I like to close my eyes when I do it, but you can do it with your eyes open as well. And you just focus on your breathing. And what you have to understand, and what took me a while to recognize, was you're actually successful at this process if you constantly have other thoughts. And as you have those other thoughts, you focus your attention back towards your breathing. So what this shows, what mindful meditation has been shown to do in study after study, is really reduce people's anxiety or fear of falling. And if you're having that problem, if you're afraid when you walk that you might fall, and if what I'm saying kind of describes you, I highly recommend that you try mindful meditation as a tool to try to help you improve your balance. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this video and want to see more things like this. Also, if you look in the description, I have a list of other videos I think might be helpful.